The Mystery of BELICENA VILLCA. Fourth Book. Quest for Uncle Kurt. Chapter 19. With the 9 o'clock in the morning, and a drizzle was falling outside. Both had slept little, and we knew it. But both, also, felt that our time was drawing near, that such tranquility that we were enjoying would not last a lot. Uncle Kurt sipped the last drink of his coffee, and continued his relation. In the Nordic Edensburg at Crossing Z, as I said before, I remained 3 months. At the month of being there, I visited Conrad Tarstein for first time, and the next 2 months, I went to the Straße 239 every Saturday, due to the SS Oberführerpapp have managed a permanent commission for me in Berlin the weekends. Thus, it was not difficult for me to travel from Prussia to Berlin, but I feared, on those days, that I'd not be capable to do it with the same facility, since the Edensburg Vogel sang rather further, in the west of Rhenish. On those 2 months, in the measure that Tarstein went instructing me in the secrets of the Gesellschaft, I experienced for him an admiration and affection major each time. Soon, the poor initial impression remained totally buried before his fascinating personality, and I must say that I'd have not hesitated to strike any insolent who dared to express aloud something that even me, the first day, had thought about Tarstein. How thoughtlessly is the youth! The arrangement that Rudolf Hess and Conrad Tarstein did about me consisted in that I had to concur to the Straße 239 during some time, with the finality to be instructed in a Hyperborean wisdom, which was the occult philosophy of the real Gesellschaft. This preparation, that would capacitate me to receive the Hyperborean initiation, would be imparted by the own Tarstein, a strange honor as many times had made notice, that was never granted to anyone. Is that Tarstein was, as I went comprehending with the time, one of the most important men of Germany for his secret hierarchy in the Gesellschaft. According to Conrad Tarstein, to receive the Hyperborean initiation, I had to be purified first. With that purpose, he went introducing me in that wonderful knowledge that is the Hyperborean wisdom. But, I must clarify, this teaching doesn't constitute a mere wisdom, an information suspended in the memory to be utilized in the rational judgments. On the contrary, Tarstein recommended to not memorize anything and, if it is possible, to forget what was conversed, because the objective of the instruction aimed to awake the memory of blood, phenomenon that could only be achieved if the acquired knowledge acted gnostically over the Hyperborean primordial strain that constitutes the divinity of the Virya. Is in this way how I was an amazed witness, amazed in all the grades of the amazement, till the fearfulness of narrations and explanations that overpassed the imaginable, at least what I could imagine, in that fantastic Hyperborean cosmogony of the Gesellschaft. If an Harry's logic scale had existed, to measure such ideas that are profoundly far away from the Occidental culture, on its Judeo-Christian conception, I could affirm that many of the expositions of Tarstein would occupy a prominent place in that scale of heresies. Because if a heresy is what contradicts a dogma, for this reason there are Catholic heresies, Buddhists, Islamic, etc. What to say about a philosophy that questions the totality of the human existence with all their dogmas, philosophies, religions and sciences, that tries to change the course of history, that affirms the possibility of the transmutation of man, from semi-divine man, or Virya, into an immortal Siddha, that, finally, has declared the war against all the material potencies of Jehovah Satan, owner of the world, of the history, and the majority of men. Let's convene that in the heresiology, such ideas would occupy a distinguished place. I say this, because at embracing concepts that are opposed, or separated from to the Occidental culture, one must be conscious of the grade of separation, or opposition in which is situated in respect to it, to be guided prudently and prevent future ills, and, I was conscious that, the things that I heard, and the effect that they caused on me, were foretelling irreversible changes in my behavior. However, that didn't concern me, because I had a goal that eclipsed all personal prevention, and every attempt to retrieve made me appear as pure egoism. That goal, that objective, for which I deposited all my yearnings, was the German homeland. Ein Reich, ein Volk, ein Führer, that is to say, one nation, one state, one leader. You'll understand now, Nif, that I lived and acted inside of the Heprobrium mystic, and that the charismatic connection with the Führer was higher each time, in the measure that I deepened in the mystery of the Gesellschaft. In my first visit to the Straße 239, I felt great trust, with Konrad Tarstein, that in one afternoon, I not hesitated to relate him my strange experience with the voice of the Hyperborean Kiev. This confidence not seemed to impress him, because he observed me for a long time in silence, and then he said to me, "Tell my Kurt, have you ever spoke with someone about this perception?" "No," I replied. I was thinking to tell him something of it to Debut Hess, but I have not seen him since I returned to Egypt. "Then, we will make a deal," affirmed Tarstein. "You will never reveal to anyone that you're in possession of that charisma, out of your own circle in the Gesellschaft." "I promise," I said briefly, "but who composes the circle?" "Oh, young Kurt, you should know that a circle of the Gesellschaft is not determined by a number of people, as in the exoteric organizations that the Cynici promote, but a qualitative relation denominated charismatic connection. The charismatic connection is independent of the number and, as every closed circle of the Gesellschaft exists as such thanks to the charismatic connection, are integrants of the circle, those who experience such relation. But, how do the members of a circle recognize each other?" I asked, a little disconcerted before such rigmaroles. "The recognition is internal. It's just known that such or such virya belongs to the own circle. Of course, that, in the external circles, constituted by not initiated members, some traditional forms of the secret societies, are practiced for the reunion and recognition, it means the sanctuary, and the saint and sign. But, this is done provisionally, attending to the urgency that certain investigations require. The real spirit of the Gesellschaft is not in the external circles, which will be promptly eliminated after the total war, but in the internal circles, those which are rigorously Hyperborean. On them, I repeat, the recognition is interior, it is known with the blood. So that, I could not recognize the members of my circle, while you not receive the Hyperborean initiation," completed Tarstein. "And as I promised not to speak about my charisma." "It won't," continued Tarstein again, "while you not receive the initiation." "Then, I feel a little tricked," I said smiling. "You mustn't take it in a bad way, Kurt, but this is matter of the higher reserve. You must give thanks for the trust that inspire us, that we don't dispose of your immediate separation or intonation, while the instruction that we are giving you endures. If the enemy, that's to say, the Cynici, just suspect about your charisma, you would be executed without wait for confirmation. And, this something that neither the Gesellschaft, nor the SS, can permit. Your thing is important, Kurt." "It is so important?" I asked, impressed for the veiled threat that I divined behind the friendly words of Tarstein. "Very important, Kurt. See it in this manner. You have the sign of Lucifer, possess notable psychic qualities, and you are Ostenführer of the SS. Don't you think that it is too much to be casual?" "Well, that's not casual." He observed me for a long time, as doubting about if he should go on. Finally he said, "You're the one who we were waiting for since 20 years ago to lead a special mission. So important, Kurt, so important, that perhaps, the destiny of the Third Reichland, why not? The one of the Aryan race depend of it." I was astonished for this revelation, and, in my confusion, I thought that I was victim of a joke. But, as more as I scrutinized the impassible countenance of Konrad Tarstein, I didn't find anything to confirm this supposition. I stammered. I never dreamt to form part of a mission of that type. Besides, I think that I don't deserve it. Form part? Tarstein interrupted, excited. Form part, you say? Ha, ha, ha. He smiled deliriously. You will not form part, Kurt. You will only carry out the mission. Who else could do it? He asked as for himself. You'll know it all, Kurt, he continued, now looking at me eyes. But, have present that, here it is not about electing. Neither you, nor me, nor anyone can elect, because the election has been already made, another sphere of consciousness, in another world. We just have to face our destiny, which is also that destiny of the humanity, and give thanks to have been signalized for so august task. Our God, Christus Lucifer, is the most beautiful Lord, but, he is also the one boldest, Father of courage. We mustn't neither dream to defraud him. There was nothing that I desired more, than to serve the homeland and humanity, I said, harebrained. But, is that surprise me, or what you say? I don't understand how I could be a so important piece in this game, and the responsibility overwhelms me. How could I live knowing that the obtainment something that is beautiful for the Third Reich, and the Aryan race is in my hands? I, as any comrade and more being officer SS, am disposed to die for our badge, if it is disposed in that way, but, from now on, I'd not desire to live with the anguish to fail before time, to not reach to comply. Do you understand, Tarstein? The time that rests for the denouement. If there is something so important to do, I'd wish to realize it, as soon as possible. Well, you must have patience. Tarstein affirmed, almost screaming. Even if 1 minute or a century is resting, you mustn't demonstrate any alteration, neither any improper behavior of the kshatriya. Remember it, you're a knight, a warrior monk, you must behave in consequence. Soon, you'll be initiated, and then, you will comply your destiny. I assented, disturbed, for the deserved reprimand that I received from Tarstein. But, that day, we didn't speak more about the matter.